So starting in a simple seated position, grounding down through the sitting bones, lengthening through the crown of the head. If you're lucky enough to be outside, wherever you are in the world, enjoying the sensation of maybe the sunshine on your skin, noticing the breeze as it with its gentle caress. And feel the crown of the head lengthening up towards the sky. As you cultivate your seat in yoga and meditation, trying to find a bit of effortless sensation in the body. But it's okay if some parts feel like they're working, but maybe look for some place in your body that feels effortless. Maybe that's in the length of the back of the neck, as the crown floats up. You can find a little space between the vertebrae and your spine. Very light activity in the arms, gently pressing the wrists or the palms of the knees so that you have some support. Help to hold the spine in this long, tall position. As you spend a few moments here smoothing the breath, effortless breath, just allowing any rough edges to naturally begin to unwind. Any knotty feelings in the breath begin to unravel. Breath smooths and evens an effortless tide of breath. As the body begins that natural process, as you bring mindfulness, awareness to your breath, also put some of your attention and awareness into your ears. And to notice all of the sounds around you, maybe coming from my space or your space. As the ears stretch out, noticing sounds that are far away. And gently bringing the ears in closer to the body, noticing the sounds that are close to you. Maybe even the sound of your own breath as it effortlessly flows in and out. Maybe spend a few more moments here in observation, opening your awareness to the silence between the sounds. Aware of space, moments of silence between the sounds. Take a deeper inhale, fill yourself up. Open mouth, exhale, let it sigh out. Breathing in, sighing out. And on your next inhale, reach the arms up, spread your fingers nice and wide. As you exhale, keep the chest lifted, bend the elbows, and lift the heart a little bit more open to the sky. Inhale, lengthen sideways, stretch the arms up. As you exhale, Bending elbows, lifting heart. 2 more times. Bringing the hands now together at heart center. And sitting tall, find the length through both sides of your waist, gently twisting to the right. Come back to center, and gently twisting to the left and center. And just rotate through a few more rounds, gently starting to work on creating some space in the lower ribs. Let a neck come along with you. One more time. And center, twist, and center. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, bend the elbows. And inhale, reaching up. And bringing hands to the shins. Inhale and lengthen a little bit, leaning forward, and then starting to rotate around. Spine rotates around the pelvis, around the pelvic floor. There's no right or wrong way. Just feeling your way with your spine, starting to create some space in the sacrum and the hips, the head and the neck. Making your way back to center. Pause for a breath. And then leaning forward and beginning those circles in the opposite direction. Just let this feel really good, really releasing anything that feels tight in the body. And coming around and returning to center. Pause for a breath in and out. Bringing hands to shins for seated cat and cow. Inhale to lift the chest and exhale, rolling back. Just flowing through, again, this gentle warming, opening for the spine, chest and shoulders. So take a moment to pause center, and we'll take the speed up a little bit, creating more of a rocking action through the pelvis, and the range of motion will be less, but the speed will be more, like this. Create your speed and rhythm. Get some movement going, some breath going through. This rocking action, bringing some heat and strength to your center. Keep it going a little bit more. These faster breaths bring a lot of oxygen in, which is part of the purification system of the body. It's purifying energy and breath. Back to stillness. Palms at the knees. Take a moment to sit. Feeling the stillness and the quiet within at the conclusion of the movement, eyes to the space between the eyebrows. Extending the right leg out, keep the left foot tucked in. Planting the left hand behind you, roll your left shoulder back. So you don't want to be leaning forward, but that rolls back and open as you reach up and overhead for a modified plank position. Upward facing plank. Coming to center, hands to heart, rotating towards the right leg. Breathe in as you exhale, just a little bit forward, modified Janu Sirsasana. Coming back to center, and tucking the right foot in, bringing the left leg out. Planting the right hand behind you, lifting the hips, reaching up and overhead. And returning to a seated position, hands at heart center. Rotating towards the left leg, getting long and tall. And then modified variation, Janu Sirsasana, small full fold forward, feeling the length on the right side waist, and that emphasis on the twist. And lifting back up, rotating to center, legs cross in. And then rolling over the tops of the knees onto hands and knees. And finding your way into the top. Planting hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Begin to make some movement to the rib cage. So circling the ribs. No right or wrong way, just let that feel really good so that you're getting some release. And all of those attachments to the ribs. Come back to center, inhaling for cow, exhaling for cat. And then start those circles in the opposite direction. So rotating through the opposite way that you did the first time. And coming back to center and starting to take some half circles here with the head and the neck. So the chin drops towards the throat, and then left ear to left shoulder, chin tucks in, right ear to right shoulder. Just taking a few half circles, just checking out how your neck is feeling tonight. And if you feel good in the space of the neck, you can start to take some full circles all the way around. And changing direction if you're taking the full circles. And coming back to center, take a big breath in. Exhale with a lion's breath, stick the tongue out. Bring the forearms down to the ground. Interlace your fingers. Make sure the elbows are directly under your shoulders. Curling the toes under, lifting the hips up and back for dolphin. First round, pedal out the feet, opening up backs of legs, calves, and knees, really pushing the ground away. When you feel like you have some space in the feet and the ankles, behind the knees and to the hamstrings, you can soften both knees and press your chest back towards your thighs, really pushing the ground away. So you're lifting up and away from the ground. Draw the lower ribs closer together. Breathe in, and as you exhale, step your feet back, coming into a forearm plank. Hips are low, belly draws in and up. And then coming down to the knees and taking a moment to stack the hands, resting forehead on hands for this modified child's pose. Coming back up to the forearms, option to interlace the fingers or planting the forearms flat. Make sure the elbows are directly under the shoulders so that you have bone stacking on top of bone as you curl the toes, lifting up and back for dolphin. You can have a little bend in the knees, really working on pushing chest back to thighs, scooping the belly in and up. And now extending right leg up to the sky. You can play around here with some circles to the foot and the ankle if you like, or just stay in stillness. Really getting that extension and bringing the right foot back down. Changing sides, extending up through the left foot. Any movement in the foot and the ankle you would like to do. And then really getting the extension and lowering down. You're going to come down now to forearm plank. Push the ground away. Hollow the space of the upper back, hollow the belly. Lowering the knees and back to child's pose. Maybe you'd like to sweep the arms back. Beginning to make your way back up. One more time into dolphin pose. Curling the toes, lifting the hips, and tiptoe the toes a little bit closer. You're going to reach the right leg up, bend at the knee, a little stack at the hips, rotating through the pelvis. And then bring the knee into the nose, round. Lifting up and back, and right foot comes down to the ground. Changing sides, up to the left foot, and bending at the knees, stacking the hip. And drawing knee to nose, really round. Lifting up and back. And foot to the ground, lower the knees. One more time, child's pose. Take any variation that you like. As you're resting in child's pose, soften head, neck, and shoulders. Good. If your arms are sweeping back, come forward. Coming out onto your belly and making your way into Sphinx. Once again, the elbows are going to stack under the shoulders. Press into the tops of your feet. Draw the belly in and up. And get some extension in the upper back and neck. Very gently just start to turn the head to the right and center, and left and center. You don't need to go very far, just a little bit. Range of motion here, just creating some space in neck and throat. Remember to keep the navel pulling towards the spine so that you have some support for your lower back. And next time that you come back to center, and soften yourself all the way down onto the ground. Arms sweep back by your sides, or make a pillow with your hands if you need a little more support for the head. If the hands are forward, sweep the arms back. You're going to bend at your right knee and take a hold of the foot or the ankle. And then the head goes back down to the ground, and you're not pulling, you're just letting the weight of the hand do some passive stretching to the right side quadriceps. Releasing the right foot back down to the ground, lifting the head for a moment so that you can easily bend at the left knee, catching the foot or the ankle. The head goes back down and you relax. So you're relaxing head, neck, and shoulders, just letting the weight of the left hand open up left side quadricep. Get heavy into the ground. Releasing the left foot back down. Stretching the arms back by the sides, press into the tops of the feet, peel the chest and shoulders off of the ground. Forehead down towards the mat so the gaze is down, the neck is long. Press into the tops of your feet, legs are very active, using the strength of the upper back, pressing strongly, firmly through the hip bones and the pubic bone to lengthen lower back. Inhale, lift up. On your exhale, turn your head to the right, turn your toes out, take a moment to rest. Bring the head back to center, zip the legs up, interlace your fingers and draw the knuckles back. You can keep the feet on the ground but legs active, or you can lift up through the feet, lift a little higher to the chest. One more inhale. As you exhale, lower down, head turns left, toes turn out. Coming back to center, zip the legs up, and now coming into bow pose. You could also take this on your side in a side lying position, bringing the hands to the ankles, pressing into the tops of the feet, and lifting up. Breathing in, feeling yourself begin to rock. Using the back side of the body to lift the front side of the body. One more inhale. As you exhale, lowering down. Bringing the forearms down to the ground, curl the toes under, lift the knees, forearm plank. Great reset here for the lower back as you suck the belly in and not push the ground away. Lower your left knee down to the ground and lifting the forearm, plant the right foot for modified side plank, reaching up and over and start to circle around. Good. Reaching up and over, really arcing, bend the elbow, open the chest, reaching out. And one more time, bending the elbow, opening the chest and reaching up, lifting the right leg, catching foot or ankle and a little kick back. So really opening front side body similar to bow pose. And releasing, coming back to center, and returning to your forearm plank. Now lowering the right knee down, spinning the shin back, planting into the left foot, reaching up, and starting to circle through that top arm. The next time that you reach out and overhead, stay there, and then bend the elbow, open left side pectoral, and reaching out. One more time, bending, opening, reaching out, and then reaching up, lifting the left foot, touching foot or ankle, reaching back into hands, arcing back, opening the whole front left side, and slowly release, come back to center, into tabletop, and then curling the toes, lifting the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Take a little pedal of the feet or any dynamic movement that you need. And then soften the knees, really press the chest back to the thighs. Lots of length through both side waist. And you're going to inhale and stretch your chest to your thighs. On exhale, look forward and step or float your feet to your hands. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale, hold. Inhale, find your flat back. Exhale, hold. And then take the feet about hips width apart, soften the knees, hold the elbows, and sway here side to side. Come back to center, really hang, releasing completely the weight of the head towards the ground. And releasing the hands from the elbows, bend in the knees, from the pit of the belly, roll on up. As you rise up, big toes step together to touch, hands reach overhead, maybe a release back. And exhaling, hands to heart. And taking a moment to stand steady in your mountain pose. Good, bring hands to heart center. Bend the knees a little bit, bringing right ankle to the left knee, sinking the hips. You can stay here lifted, or you can go a bit deeper into the hip stretch by bringing the hands down to the ground and a little fold forward, release of the head. Deeper bend in the left knee. Listen to your body, taking the appropriate depth for your hips tonight. And pressing through the left leg, release right foot down to the ground. And then from the pit of the belly, roll on up. As you rise, arms come along with you. And exhaling, hands to heart. Softening at the knees and bringing the left ankle above the right knee. And starting to sink down. Take a few breaths here, just feeling your way in. Remembering the two sides can be very different. And working with this side at the appropriate depth, maybe into the folds, deeper bend in the right knee. And pressing through the right foot, straighten right leg, left foot down to the ground. Deep bend in the knees and roll on up. As you rise, let the arms come along with you. And exhaling, hands touch heart center into Uttanasana, forward fold. Lifting up to Ardha Uttanasana and planting the hands, stepping the feet back into plank. Pushing the ground away. And already have some pretty good space and heat in the shoulders. So if you feel ready, take full chaturanga or any modification in the push-up that suits you. Pressing through cobra or upward facing dog and pressing back downward facing dog. Take a moment to settle in and breathe in your dog pose. Shoulders roll away from ears, feeling broadness on the upper back. And then reaching the right foot up. I'm going to bend at the knee and stack the hip. Just feeling the pelvis open, right hip open. And bring the hips to square, and then bring the right ankle to the left thigh, pressing back. Similar to figure 4 here in your downward facing dog. And pull the right foot, the right knee forward and step the right foot between the hands, lowering the back knee down, sweeping up, stretching the thumbs back. Bring hands to heart, rotate to the right. You can stay right here for a little bit more lifted sensation in the twist, or hooking the left elbow outside the right knee. And now lift the back knee. Rotating to center, planting the hands, stepping back, and flowing through chaturanga, transitioning to upward facing dog, pressing to downward facing dog. And extending up through the left leg, letting the knee bend, stacking the hips. Good, and straightening the hips out, bringing the left ankle to the right thigh. Figure 4 in the legs. In the left leg, downward facing dog in the right leg. Pulling knee to nose. Left foot between the hands, lowering the right knee down and sweep on up. Low lunge. Bringing hands to heart center. This time rotating to the left. Option to stay in this more open, free position for the spine and the chest. Or dip forward, deepening the twist, right elbow at left knee. Good. Lifting the right knee. Rotating back to center. And then hands down to the ground, stepping back, your vinyasa flow. Inhaling and stretching back. Exhale out through the mouth. Good. Extending the right leg long and straight. Bending, stacking. Good. Squaring the hips, bringing the right ankle above to the left thigh, above the knee. And then starting to shift the hips back. So you're bending at the left knee. You're kind of pushing the bottom back and then reaching the top arm up and over. You're going to bend at the elbow and lift the chest and then press the hips up a little bit, straighten the top arm. Bending, opening up and pressing to straight. Good, reaching up, planting the hand, knee to nose. And right foot between the hands, back foot flat for warrior one. Sweep on up. Hands behind the back. Inhale, really open up through the chest. As you exhale, diving forward, softening crown of head to the floor, arms up and overhead. Humble warrior. And releasing hands inside the front foot, soften a little bit deeper. And if you would like to practice the arm balance, you can wind right shoulder behind right knee, lift the back heel, bending elbows like chaturanga, lift the front heel, straighten the leg. And taking a moment in Ekapada Kundanyasa before you release through. Everyone will meet in downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths, smoothing and evening in down dog. And then lifting left leg, bending at the knee, stacking the hip. Good, square the hips, bringing the left ankle to the right thigh. And now starting to rotate into that side plank, bending a little bit at the right knee, and then pushing the hips back, reach the arms up and over. Good, bending the elbow, opening up the chest, and then push a little bit more to straight as you reach out and overhead. You're just taking a little bit of movement here, dropping the hips a bit, then reaching up. One more time. Good, planting the hand down and pulling the knee to the nose, left foot between the hands, back foot drops flat, Virabhadrasana 1, sweep on up. Bring the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, knuckles down towards the ground as you open the chest. And humble warrior, softening the arms overhead. Release the hands inside the front foot, dip a little deeper. And you can stay right there, just enjoying that nice stretch in the left hip, or lift the back heel, winding underneath. Good. Lift the front heel, chaturanga arms as you extend left leg, and working on just a moment to lift up. Releasing into up dog, pressing back downward facing dog. And a big breath as you stretch back. And then take a moment to soften the knees down towards the ground. It's sitting back onto the heels, toes curled under. So this will allow your natural curves of the spine to just be free. The breath can smooth and even as you open up the soles of your feet. Come forward onto hands and knees, and then make your way into Malasana, planting the feet on the mat, turning the toes out, sinking the hips down, bringing hands to heart center. And extending the right arm up, reaching, right arm out, left arm up. Breathe in, and as you exhale, you can take that small bend in the elbow, just get a little bit more space in the neck and the shoulders. Just doing what feels good for you. You bend that one more time. And then if you like, you can move into the bind, wrapping left arm behind the back, feeling that bigger, deeper opening in the shoulders. Unwind, stretching left arm out and reaching right arm up. Breathe in. And as you exhale, option to bend the elbows, a little bit deeper sensation, and release in the right shoulder. Option to take the bind. And releasing. And starting to take the feet wide as you straighten the legs, coming into wide leg forward fold. So you're pressing into the outside edges of your feet, inhaling to lift the chest as you exhale deep into your fold. Option to bring the forehead to the mat. Think about tilting through the pelvis so the tailbone lifts up to the sky. And finding your flat back position, you're going to rotate out through the right foot, deep bend in the knee, as you find a variation of Skandasana. So you can sit on a block here, the bottom can be lifted, or the bottom can come all the way down to the ground. You have an option to bind. Good, unwind if you have the bind, pressing yourself up, left toes turn out, and the right toes reach to the sky. Taking your variation. Remember, you can sit on a block, or you can sit down on the ground. And then if you bound on the first side, see how that feels on this left side. Very slowly beginning to unwind and pressing up, parallel the feet. Take the hands behind the back, interlace, forward fold, fingers up and overhead. Really soften here. And starting to release the hands down to the ground, inhaling to the flat back. And bring hands to hips and exhale to stand. And just heel toe the feet together. And then coming to stand at the front of the mat. Mountain pose, strong and steady. On your inhale, reaching up. On your exhale, bringing the hands down to the hips. You're going to bend at the right knee, catching foot or ankle. So using this mostly as a quadricep stretch. If you feel like you have a back bend that's in you this evening, you can reach the left arm up, taking a hold of the right foot, inside or outside edge. And then lifting, try to stay extended through the upper part of your spine for a dancer pose. Returning to center and right foot to the ground, mounted pose. And then taking the opposite side, bending at the left knee, and you can stay right here, just working on the quadricep stretch. If you took dancer on the first side, finding some variation of that here, lifting up through hamstrings and glutes, backside muscles working to open and lift front side body. Very slowly returning to your mountain pose. And inhaling, reaching up. As you exhale, hands to heart, begin to bend at the knees and working into toe stand or some variation. Remember that hands can be down on the ground. Heels are in the perineum, shins push forward. Bringing the hands down, let the heels drop, open the knees, bring the chest through, and then arms wrap around, backs of hands to the hips, possibly, or you could be in Malasana, taking garland pose. Let yourself come down to a seat and crossing at the ankles, easy seated pose. Take a moment to breathe. Coming over the tops of the knees and come to lie out on the belly. Take a pillow with the hands, take a resting position for the legs soft. Coming to the forearms for Sphinx pose. Tops of feet pressed into the ground. And you can stay right here or work your way into frog pose by pressing up, lifting the forearms off of the ground, bending at the right knee, reach, maybe you catch the wrist or the elbow, or maybe you can find that rotation of the hands so the fingers come over the top of the foot and the heel comes to the outer right hip. Don't strain to get there. Big quadricep pose and shoulder pose. Slowly release. And remember, you could just be resting or be in Sphinx pose, possibly taking left side. Maybe you just catch the ankle or the elbow. You don't want to strain the shoulder rotator, but if you can find that rotation, spinning the fingers around and using that as leverage to get deeper into the quadricep. Very slowly beginning to release. Good, you're turning the toes out, making the pillow with the hands and rest. Rising back up onto the forearms, curl the toes for forearm plank, using this as a way to reset the lower back. Starting to walk the feet forward for full dolphin. And lifting the right leg up. You're going to press through the right foot, taking some little hops. And if forearm stand is in your practice, feel free to practice the inversion with the legs up towards the sky. If you're just playing with the hop, bring the right foot down, then the left leg extends, and some pressing and hopping on the left side. Good. Lowering down, breathe in, stretch back. And all the way down to the knees now, finding child's pose. You're going to take your time as you go into that. Take the knees wide and bring the hips back, but the spine is lifted. And then nice and slow, coming to the forearms. Any wiggling back and forth that you need. You want to make sure your lower back feels completely released. And then belly down, turning the palms to face up, getting the rotation through the shoulders. And nice and slow, releasing the head all the way down into the ground. Soften in to this child's pose. Receptive gesture, palms facing up. Slowly lift the head, turn the palms down, lift the forearms and wind left arm underneath right. Head down to the mat. Spinal twist. And winding your way back through and taking the opposite side. Take your time, maybe pause for a breath center. And then opposite side, winding underneath. Come back to center, take a breath. And coming up onto your knees and take a hold of your block. So we're going to be working into a deeper variation of that Skandasana pose, and you're going to really be listening to your body and only going to the depth that feels appropriate for you. Now you might find that sitting on the block really makes a difference. So you can sit right on your block. And then you're going to extend the right leg out and the left foot will be bent like this. So this is the modification. And you can stay right here with hands at heart center. It's an excellent place to stay. You want to go deeper into the pose. And you're going to have your bottom on the floor with the right leg extended out. And you're going to slide the right forearm down and rotate here through the shoulder. So reaching up and then bending the elbows so you get a little bit deeper. You can take that overhead and bending the elbow, rotating the chest. And you can continue that dynamic movement, or you can settle a little bit deeper into the pose, bringing the right side waist in line with the right side shin, holding onto the arch of your foot and the toes and rotating chest to sky. As you rise up, option for that bind. Unwinding to center. And then coming for a moment into easy seat. Working slowly and mindfully into these deeper poses. Setting up for the opposite side. Maybe you're sitting here on the block. Left leg extends, right foot is on the floor. Stay here with hands at heart center. If you're going into that deeper variation, bottom is on the floor. Now you're going to bring your left forearm down and you're staying long through the left side waist, reaching up to the sky, and then bend the elbow And now you're going out and overhead and bending elbow, get a little rotation through right side pectoral. As you can continue to take that dynamic movement or coming a little bit deeper into the pose, holding with the bottom hand on the arch and the top hand on the big toe, rotating chest to sky, elbow is bent. Nice deep breaths. And as you rise up, option to take the bind opposite side. It's like a counter twist. Should feel good. And slowly unwind and then extending the right leg out. Maybe you'd like to have your block out in front. We're going to be going into wide-legged forward fold here in a seated position. And your legs can be out wide or they can be in a little bit closer. So you want to go at a position that feels best and good for your body. And you might be using a block, or you might bring your forearms to the ground. So finding your way in, make sure that you get up onto these sitting bones. So you might need to pull some flesh out of the way and then rock forward. The pelvis rocks forward and you're on the sitting bones. As you inhale and lengthen, exhale, bringing forearms down to ground or block. And then you just work through your range of motion. So maybe you stay with chest lifted, maybe you come all the way down. Starting to make your way back up. Give your knees a hand by helping to bend them. And then coming back to the lengthwise of your mat. Using the strength of your core to roll yourself down. Good. All right, from here, you have the option for bridge, supported bridge, or shoulder stand. If you're coming into shoulder stand, knees come in close to the belly, lifting the hips, bringing the hands to the lower back, walking the elbows in, creating some support at the pelvis, and extending the legs up. Don't turn your head while you're in shoulder stand. And if you find you have a little bit more space, maybe the hands move to the lower ribs. Never straining or pinching the neck to get into these positions. See if somewhere in this pose you can find some lightness or effortlessness. You can transition down through ear pressure pose, or you can transition into bridge pose. So really finding your transition. Taking your time to slowly release back down to the ground, no rush. Once you are down, the feet will be wide and the knees will drop together. And separating the knees and bringing the soles of the feet together, knees out to the side for Supta Baddha Konasana, taking one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Soften, surrender, let go. Let your awareness rest solidly on your breath. Watch it smooth and even. And maybe notice that you've been concentrating very hard and making these poses flow smoothly, gracefully, so that all of the sounds were tuned out. There was a level of silence with only the soft sounds of your breath really solidly on the interior space. Your asana as meditation, as concentration, as withdrawal of the senses. But now that you're slowing down, let your ears just expand out a little bit. Just noticing once again all of the little sounds around you. Still keeping an equal amount of attention and focus inside. So there's a balance. And bringing the hands to the outsides of the knees and gently bring them together. Bring the feet to the ground and the hips in a neutral position for a moment so that you just soften into that natural position for the hips. And you can take a moment to just follow the energy of the body. If there's any other pose that your body is calling out for, follow the energy and just transition into any finishing pose that you might need. If you feel ready for Shavasana, the legs will extend. And make sure that you create some support for the knees and the head. Just taking several breaths here for any final pose. When you are complete, making that transition into final relaxation, Shavasana. Legs will extend. Taking time to create any support that you need for your body. Any warmth you might like to layer back up. And once you have created your cozy nest, really settle in, surrender in. So maybe you'd like to bring awareness for just a moment to the sounds around you. And then let them begin to fade away as the attention moves into the surrender of the body and the breath. Point of focus could be at navel center, watching that gentle rise and fall of breath right there at the navel center. Breath continues to slow down. Savor this unwinding, this melting, this letting go. Make yourself effortless. One of the tenets of Shavasana is stillness. So commit for the next few minutes to stillness. But then there is nothing else to do. You can just let it all go. And let yourself rest. Slowly start to bring your awareness back. And as you come back, begin to tune back into all of the little sounds that are around you from my space or yours. Notice that Shavasana as a time of space between all of the sounds. Stillness, a letting go into that spacious awareness. Space in the breath. Space between the sounds. Begin to deepen the inhales and exhales now. And have a sensation of breathing down into the hands and the feet to bring energy into hands and feet. And beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. Rotating wrists and ankles. You can open and close the fingers. That was a lot of work on the wrists for our class. Just opening, closing a little bit. And then maybe taking a nice stretch, hands away from feet. When you're ready, bending at the knees and rolling to a side, spending a few moments there. Sideline position, fetal position, transition time. Pressing palms into the earth. Use the strength of your arms. Rise on up and find an effortless seated position. Endless space in the body. Miles of space between each vertebrae. That length in the back of the neck. And the crown of the head just floats like a balloon up towards the sky. We'll take a breath in together. Exhale, soft sigh, releasing out. Breathing in. Sighing out. And inhaling to our own. After the sound, in between the vibrations, rises up the silent Om. Feeling that in every cell. Bringing hands together at heart center. We'll take a moment of gratitude for this practice that allows us to be creative, to flow, to work on grace. And that reminds us that the quieter we become, the more we can hear. And space between the sounds, the stillness between the breaths. Namaste.